Okay, it appears we're on the internet now.
Welcome, Internet.
This is USfanTV. We're asking some very important questions ahead of the
Burning questions.
Mexico match. Some of these are very important, at least. Some of these are pretty stupid, but they're important to us. So I will open with an actual important question. Who starts alongside John Brooks with Jeff Cameron out?
I think that's a good question. I mean, as we've kind of talked about ourselves, I don't know. Certainly, Matt Beasler's an option. I think he probably is the next one in line in the depth chart. But I think, like we've spoken about, he's probably the backup at left back, and I think Klinsmann wants likes the option of having him there. And do you, run the risk of having your second choice or your backup at one position go in and play somewhere else when you really then don't have another backup at that position? So say he plays Beasler, Fabian gets hurt or whatever happens, who goes there? Who do you turn to next? I would think probably Omar Gonzalez has the best shot at it based on kind of his club position and things. I know I think that's where kind of you're feeling. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
but
Omar.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a good choice. I mean, yeah, exactly. Orozco could be, but at the same time, he hasn't really looked great or anything. I just feel like Klinsmann likes him. I feel like he's kind of one of his guys. So I think he always has a shot. That's really why I picked him to even make the 23, and that's why I think that's why he's there. I think still. I mean, hey, he does have a history with Mexico, so he was our game winner at Azteca. So he has some positives, but who does it? Honestly, part of me even wonders, will it be Jermaine Jones? With the lineup that just kind of strike out of left field, with the guys he's called in, with the lineup he has, and with the skilled players that I think he has to put on the field, he probably ends up, he'll want to shoehorn Jermaine in somewhere.
That's a good call.
It's kind of what he does. I'm not a fan of the Jermaine at center back game that we've played. I think these have been failed attempts, but Klinsmann seems to like it. So I'll throw this one out there. You heard it here, probably 5,000th, but
all right, how about you fire one of these things at me here? What do you got?
Will Michael Bradley remember how to pass this game?
Whew, that is a good question. He has had these games where he goes from being world class to passing the ball 5 feet short of guys, or you don't, and it's inexplicable. I don't get it. But I was rewatching what did they call it? The CONCACAF Cup, the game in Pasadena last year that I try to block out of my mind. He did have some decent passes,
crap,
including an assist on our first goal. So, yes, my answer is yes. He will remember how to pass. He seemed all upbeat the other night after the big Toronto win when he was on with Rob Stone. He seemed happier than I've seen him before. Maybe that means he's healthier, and he seemed excited about the prospect of playing in this game. I think he'll have a very good game.
You can't quite see it in my background, but I do have a Bradley jersey up there. I picked guys who have all starred in Dos Aceros.
I could kind of see the theme going on there.
Yeah.
All right, so here's mine for you. Is there a plan B? And what I mean by that is, what if, like, Josie goes down? And what do we do then? Like,
what if it's 20 minutes in? Just imagine you're in a major world tournament, and 20 minutes in, you suddenly lose the player your entire game plan is based around. That's a good question. I think with Bobby Wood, at least now playing the way he is, we do have maybe not a plan B, but a plan like C, sort of. It ends up working the same, I guess, but I don't think that there is a true like for like that Klinsmann will do, but at least I think there are options. Where does he go? I'd like to think maybe Aaron Johansson gets a shot, but I thought that in the World Cup and it didn't happen. So My guess is we'll see maybe a shift then to I'll go back to Jermaine Jones. I just have a feeling he's going to get shoehorned in somewhere. So if something like that happens, I think we may see him come in and we shift to some sort of 4-2-3-1 or something, and Bobby Wood becomes the lone striker. I really hope that doesn't happen. I don't think that suits Wood's style, but it doesn't always suit Josie's style. But we sure have tried it. Maybe if Jordan Morris isn't hurt, I think that could maybe be the closest we see to a like for like, would be Bobby and Jordan together.
It didn't look good for him from what I was reading today, though. So.
Yeah, that seems like that may be unlikely. Who does that mean? We have it forward. That may mean Julian shifts up there. I like what he brings to the game. He brings a lot of the same things that Aaron Johansson brings. It's technical ability, it's speed, it's somebody who's willing to dribble at guys, make good passes. But I don't understand Klinsman's thinking a lot of the time, and I don't know if I can pretend to. So, what's the plan B? I don't know. I think that's probably the best answer.
I hope we don't.
Maybe. Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, it is funny. The last 3 major tournaments, Josie has had to bail out or skip because of a hamstring injury. The World Cup, the Gold Cup, and then the Copa America. 3 in a row in essentially 3 years. 2014, 2015, 2016. Let's hope that everything seems to be good. Everything seems to be going well, but he's always been. It's kind of been the same each time. It looks like it's going well, then it doesn't. I'm hopeful that we don't have to worry about this, and he doesn't get hurt. He can play through Mexico and Costa Rica. Go recover or whatever happens in MLS. I'll take the chance there, but just keep it. Stay healthy through this, please.
Yes.
Who do you think our 3 subs are? Assuming no injuries.
We talked about, I think, Matt Beasler, just because of his flexibility. I could see him coming in. It's, I'd like it to be like Cameron Carter-Vickers and Lyndon Gooch, because it means we're up 5-0, in the 80th minute, and he just wants to get them cap tied. But realistically, I think the 2 KC boys, maybe Beasler, Zusi, and I think Julian. Based on the way Julian played, Julian's a pretty flexible guy too. I could see Julian coming in. So I don't know.
I think those are fair calls.
But yeah, I like the idea that the 2 guys we need to get cap tied come in, because that means we're well in hand. And I know that we've won, by that famous scoreline 4 times in a row in this game now, but I'm more scared of this Mexico team than I should be probably. But I guess that's what makes it fun, right? All right, let's see what I have for you here. Are the mobile tickets going to work?
I haven't. I've been meaning to all day to download mine, because it wasn't until 7:25 Eastern this morning or something that you could actually access them. So I haven't downloaded ours. I have seen them, or I've seen that they exist. So at least I know somewhere they are a reality. But I haven't been able to download them to my phone. This does seem like the idea that there are no, you can't even print out your tickets and take them in. Everything has to be mobile. This seems like a bad idea. I know there is the option for people there to pick them up at will call if you don't have anything.
If your phone dies or something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Like, are they going to have free charging stations out there? Because there's so many things that could go wrong here. Say you just drop your phone because you've been drinking in a parking lot all day. Like, you're standing in a square mile of concrete or blacktop. Simple things to smash up a phone, and now you've got to get into a game. And what are you going to do? It just seems, I don't know.
Yeah, I will say we did for the Copa America, not for the U.S. matches, but we went to see Argentina at Soldier Field, and then did an all-nighter out to Philadelphia the next day, which was fun. But we did do the mobile ticketing for that game. And if any city can screw up something like that, and any venue can screw up something like that, it's Soldier Field, and it worked. So I think it'll work there. But the thing that gives me pause in saying that is all of the delays and the ticketing and everything that happened with that. You know, we're going to tell you where you're sitting on Thursday. It's the following Thursday, and we still don't know. So I'm kind of scared of that too. Just like the Mexican team, I'm scared of our own federation and their ability to pull this off. But hopefully, you know, it'll work like paper tickets.
Yeah, I'd like to think that, you know, when it comes down to it, when we get there, it'll work for real. Will it? There are countless things that could go wrong, and that seems to be the recipe for things that do go wrong with U.S. soccer. But I'm hopeful. I'll have my fingers crossed. Everything works out fine. Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
It's on to it's on. Oh, are we getting scarves?
I looked into this. So last time they did the scarf giveaway during the Hex, which was very cool. It had the different parts of the national anthem on it. I don't think so is the answer. I couldn't find any information that we were, and I saw they sent out an email not long ago promoting the event scarf that they're selling. Your dogs. I hear dog. So I don't think we're getting scarves, but maybe your dog knows the answer to that. Maybe that isn't your dog. Maybe that dog is eating you right now. You didn't die. Is that your dog or is that another dog? Did another dog come in your home?
Yeah, good job talking there.
I
had to make sure my.
Were there many dogs?
Well, I was running to get yes, yeah, there. While I was running to get a power cord to make sure this didn't die, set the dog off.
You went through all the work to get all that stuff behind you, and
didn't realize how close my iPad was to dying. I'd already gone through the 10%, already gone through the 5%. I was like, yeah, we could die here in about 2 more seconds. So I'm like, I'm sure stretch.
All right, let's see what we got. How do you think we're going to play this match? What's our style going to be?
I think that's a bit of a good question. I think that we're going to see. I think we're going to have to go with a more attacking style. I think Mexico will naturally go. I shouldn't say naturally, because of the situation, because of the history, because the U.S. doesn't really lose on U.S. soil. And this is Columbus, so we don't lose to Mexico, that's for sure. I think they're going to adopt. They're going to try and strike quickly. I think as long as we can kind of withhold the first 20 minutes or so, they're going to sit back and just force us to bring the game to them. I think they're going to overload the midfield. My guess is they're going to play something like 3-5-2, 3-2, 3-1, whatever that I don't think that works out to enough, but something they're going to try and stack the midfield to try and force Sasha and Bradley to do as much work as possible, and then push pressure on to probably Pulisic. I mean, I think you have to accept that he's going to be there based on his talent. You know he's going to end up with responsibility. You know he's going to be out there a long time. I think you can pretty well guess. But being barely 18, they're going to try and force him to prove it. And he may be facing Layun, kind of his the best competition Mexico can give him. So I think we'll have to. I assume it'll be a 4-4-2, more of a kind of the diamond again. Mm-hmm. But I don't. Like I keep saying, I think Klinsmann will somehow try to shoehorn Jermaine in Now that may mean he plays defense and we keep it a 4-4-2. I don't think we'll go with multiple defensive backs, defensive center midfielders. Because it just limits too much of our offensive power. And really, where our strength is right now is youth, speed, and talent. And I think we have to exploit that. I think that's why guys like Lyndon Gooch got called up, even though presumably they won't play. Maybe Caleb Stanko too. They're just young guys who have talent and potential, and you want to see them play. And how do you fit them all in? I mean, Pulisic has to be out there. Listening to Klinsmann yesterday,
the best player at this point. So
I think it's fair to say. I would say the only guy right now who could probably challenge him is Fabian Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And Klinsmann's pretty well said just yesterday that it's going to be Fabian at back, Pulisic in front of him. You're looking at, we're going to overload probably the left side then. Let hopefully Pulisic to use his speed. Maybe then if this starts working out, if he can actually start winning some plays, then it makes room for Sasha to make passes. It makes room for Bradley to loft some long balls over the top and really make their defense work, try to stretch their beat their midfield that way, stretch their defense. And then you've got guys like DeAndre who can just run onto anything. And I assume what we're going to do is, try to play that speed. So I don't think it won't truly be a possession game, but I don't think it'll truly be a counter-attacking game either. I mean, I think the first 20 minutes is going to be counter-attacking. We can expect them. They're going to try and take the game as hard as they can because they know that if they don't score immediately, they're probably not going to score. Beyond that, I think, 20 to 25 minutes in, we'll start to see really Bradley and Sasha try to take hold of the game. Depending on how high Mexico's playing on defense, how high they push their line, I think we'll see the ball move to Pulisic, and you'll see an awful lot of pressure move through the left. But overall, I would say we're going to be a 4-4-2 diamond. I think while that could shift if certain injuries occur, like we talked about, I predict a 4-4-2 against something akin to a 3-5-1.
Yeah.
How many Mexicans do you think we're going to see there?
I think 11 on the field, and 8 or so on the bench. Maybe a coach, and then about 614 in the stands.
How many of them will try to fight an American after the game? Probably who already work for the Mexican Football Federation.
I think it's possible at least 10.
That's probably a fair number.
There will be some Mexicans, I hope, selling those skewers of meat in the parking lot because those things are awesome.
That is a great way to make friends afterwards.
But it's
I'll do shots of tequila and eat your food after the game.
Okay, so 2005 was what? 60-40, maybe 50-50?
I think it was probably more than that, but it looked worse on the drive over. But once we got there, it was pretty heavily U.S.
By 2013, it was what? 90% or more?
Yeah, I would say probably at least. I mean, I remember there were small pockets of Mexican fans throughout, and there were sections somehow. There were some people who actually got into our sections, which I do actually believe the police should have kind of looked the other way. Like, this shouldn't be allowed to happen.
Yeah,
they're only there to cause a problem. So let the problem be resolved by the people.
If it were
either you escort them out or
not be allowed, it just
no,
you don't wear your colors in the opponent's section for a heated game like that. But I don't know. So along those lines, this one's important. Which one of us is more likely to get hit in the head with a D battery? And which one of us is more likely to get hit with a bag of piss, and why?
You're getting the D battery because of the size of your head. So
I knew you were going to go that. Yeah.
It's just larger. I think this is too simple. You're getting the D battery because of the size of your head. I'm getting hit with the bag of piss because of course I'd get hit with the bag of piss.
Correct.
I think anyone who knows the two of us knows that if somebody's getting hit with a bag of piss, it's going to be me. That'll be June. That'll be in June.
This is kind of a two-part question. Is it going to be cold? Because I don't really want to be cold. But if it is cold, is that going to hurt the Mexican team?
Well, I have looked at the forecast, and I did get some special.
Look at that.
Yeah. I'm bringing America all out on Friday night. So I think it'll be a bit like last November in St. Louis. It won't be warm. Your hands will get cold holding a beer or something, but you're not gonna like freeze to death out there. I would guess that with the number of people and the amount of activity, jumping around, yelling, screaming, singing, whatever that's going on, you're probably not going to get that cold. But it's not going to be with the darkness and things. It's not going to be a warm game. I do remember in 2009, again, a 7-ish o'clock start or something. It had been raining all day, and it was a fairly cold night, and it was pouring rain, and it turned out to be much warmer than I expected. Now, some of it, I'm sure, is that you're just in a mass of humanity. I mean, people everywhere. They're all close together. You're all jumping around. So there's some natural heat or whatever built up there. But I don't know. I don't think it'll be that bad. Is it enough to hurt the Mexicans? I doubt it. I don't really believe that.
I don't either.
The temperature truly affects any of these guys. I mean,
half of them play in Europe anyway.
Exactly. They play all over the world. Like, they play in these things all the time, or in circumstances like these all the time. So to say that, oh, it's worse here, no. I think what hurts them is that it's a mental block as much as anything. I think it's sort of the same for us in it used to be in Saprissa in Costa Rica. I think it's a bit of that at Azteca, where you know how hard it is. You know that you know that the history says you're going to lose, and so it becomes just a mental strike against you, and you're already prepared kind of to lose. Besides, I don't know, when you're running around actually playing the game, how much do you even feel the weather? I mean, I can remember a few times when I was young, like getting hit on a really cold day, like getting hit with a ball like on the leg or something, and yeah, that burns, but otherwise, you don't really feel it.
No, it's definitely not cold enough to have any impact. And if it were cold enough to have an impact, it would have an impact on both teams. So
yeah.
I think that old adage is stupid. I think it's yours, right?
What is your go-to food inside the match?
Ooh. Sometimes it's pretzel. But pretzels pretzels can really suck too if they do them. If you get like the ones that are like soggy or wet, it's horrible. So I will say some type of sausage. You get
now that's a Polish sausage.
Yes, you get the protein, you get the bread, soaks up the beer, keeps you going. I'll do something along those lines, maybe. But I'll see what we can get in the parking lot first. I'm sure the AO tailgate will be excellent as always. So,
speaking of tailgating, is it acceptable to eat Mexican food or drink Mexican beer at all this week? Or at least, what is the cutoff?
I had tacos for lunch, so I will say it was acceptable today. I would say game day. You don't eat Mexican food until after when you've won, and then you eat those skewers of meat from the Mexican ladies in the parking lot. But yeah, you have to. I think there's a ban, except I know you will make an exception for the ban with tequila based on your appearance on Telemundo or whatever it was in 2000.
Yes, it was. Yes, yeah. My time with Telemundo or Univision, whatever it was, I don't remember now. But yes, my experience there, I do at least excuse tequila prior to games, regardless of the team, but in particular against Mexico. But I won't drink Mexican beers. I won't eat tacos. I won't. To hell with all things from Mexico for the 24 hours, I would say, prior to the game.
It's hard though, because those are my favorite things.
I don't get why they don't sell tortillas with the skewers of meat in the parking lot.
They should.
Maybe a little bit of hot sauce to sprinkle on top. It would be amazing. As much as I like eating meat off a stick.
Yeah. I think we have a few more left. Will I miss a goal this year due to the run?
You do have a history.
Maybe if it's like 75th minute and no one scored, maybe I'll deliberately make a beer run just to try to make it.
I'm going to guess that you won't actually this year. I assume you thought I would say you would. I'm going to say you probably won't, because I'm guessing with the size of the crowd and the size of the type of crowd I think that we'll have, I think getting out to actually get to beer is going to be probably a no-go past maybe the 20th minute. I don't think you want to go at halftime, and you certainly don't want to go after. So
no.
The likelihood is the goals are coming in the second half. Leave during the first half if you have to go. Pee before the game. Pee as many times as you have to before the game. Or wear one of those stadium buddies. Do your drinking beforehand, because they're not going to have any beers in the stands. And good luck getting out to get any. So,
yeah, I think we'll be all right. I don't think I'm going to be making any runs after, the beginning of the match. Speaking of the beginning of the match, I'll ask one. I think this is on your list, but I'll ask it. Will anyone bleed out next to us?
Ooh. I am curious what the crazy thing to happen this time will be. I'm a little afraid, since we are taking people who've never been to a US-Mexico game, that like it's going to turn into, oh, suddenly everything was normal. And they'll be like, what are you talking about? What do you mean something crazy always happens? But I've yet to go to a Columbus game where some kind of, I don't know, unexpected thing didn't happen, much less US-Mexico, where there's always just some kind of insanity. Even just in San Antonio, where the piano player was playing for San Marcos, Texas, Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas, all over the world.
Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, we put it on the website. A guy in 2013, right before the match started, comes flying down from the bleachers above us and breaks his fall literally with like this part of his head right here on the back, on the 1-inch back of the metal bleacher, and his head just exploded. And his friends, they didn't want to miss the match. So they're like, no, he's fine. He's fine. His eyes are like rolling back.
No, he's not.
Blood everywhere. And his friends are like, no. Paul's fine. Just bring him. Like, no, Paul's going to die if you don't get him some medical attention here. You get Paul out of here. Paul's got blood all over the seat next to me. You could even see on TV, there's one empty seat right next to me.
It's more than that. It was like 3. But by the time, because somebody poured a beer into the blood down there, and all it did was just spread it out farther. So it just became a larger black pool that no one wanted to stand in. So it went from being like 3 feet across to like 6 or 8 feet across. It was disgusting. Selfishly, I was like, you get this kid out of here, because otherwise he's going to die here. And they're going to have to bring in the medical crew. It's going to ruin my game. I didn't bring this kid. You did. You take care of him.
I still remember the sound, too. It was like a combination of like a big gong with like, when Rocky's punching the raw meat. It was kind of like the combination of the raw meat punch and then the gong together. It was just this it was tremendous.
Maybe you should have gotten in his face going, come on, Rock, come on.
All right, do we have any decent questions left here?
I think this is probably the last one. Who are your goal scorers and what's the final score?
I'll say 2-0. Dos Acero. Why not? Josie and Josie. How about that?
I'm thinking Josie will have one. Bobby Wood will have another. We'll go Dos Acero, because if nothing else, kind of like last time, someone will miss a shot intentionally just to make sure it stays that way. I am a little afraid that they might get the first goal If that happens, I think it'll probably end up 2-1. We're not going to lose. I'm awfully confident of that. I'm pretty confident we won't draw either. I think the magic of Columbus will prevail, much like the magic of Azteca tends to prevail for Mexico. And that'll be that. I'm curious, and certainly I think before the game we'll be asking for people to give us their predictions. Will you go 2-0? Will you branch out and say, oh, this is the time that finally Mexico scores? This is the time that the U.S. finally piles on? I just can't see either of these teams truly opening the game up because that's just not how we play. And it's not how we play each other. And it's Columbus. It's hard not to say 2-0.
No, I mean, the past histories there. I have one more for you. One more very important one.
All right.
And then we'll be done. You have to spend an entire weekend with one of two people. Chicharito or Pitbull? Who are you going?
Yeah.
I have the feeling that would just go on the whole weekend.
Oh, no, it's more like this, isn't it? It's not actually a fist. He does like this, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be Pitbull because I would wear his Pitbull fragrance. Smell like a Pitbull man, I guess. I can't accept anything with Chicharito. I can't accept him in any way. I don't hate him like I do Rafa Marquez. Perhaps he could come to grow on me the way Blanco did. And I would just sort of find him like, I can hate you when you play for Mexico, but I also find you kind of entertaining outside of that. But he's yet to do anything that would make me actually say, you're kind of entertaining. He isn't even likable for hatred the way Dirty Sanchez was after he flipped you off in Chicago.
Still proud of that, by the way.
Like, that actually gave me a certain measure of respect for him. I still think, yeah, he's a piece of shit. He sucks. I hate the guy. But there's a certain hating respect that I have for him, and that he did flip you off, which is pretty cool. Maybe Chicharito will flip me off, and then I'll feel differently about it.
I don't want to say what I said to him, but I probably deserve to be flipped off. Just say that. It's what, 10 years ago, I was more of an idiot then, slightly than I am now. Yeah, I probably deserve to be flipped off then. All right. I think we're out of questions. We've reached the point where we're asking about Pitbull, so I think we're done with this. Yeah, we'll have more coming up on the website, USfanTV.com, on the Twitter, @USfanTV. And then, yeah, we'll be at the game. You'll come find us outside the game. We'll put you on this fine YouTube channel. It will be fun.
And you can cheer for, if I can get it.
Wait, he's got something for us.
You can cheer for this.
There you go. 2-0. Let's hope. Adios.